Content warning. This episode discusses racism, suicidal thoughts, depression, addiction, and toxic relationships, which some viewers may find distressing. If you are struggling or having thoughts of suicide, support is available. In the U.S., you can call or text 988 or chat at 988lifeline.org for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Additional resources are listed in the episode description. He goes in the room and he comes out with my leggings on. Like, he had my leggings on. He had my leggings.
Was he joking?
We was on FaceTime. And he looks at me dead in my eyes. And he's like, "Fuck you, nigger." I said, "Mer?" Pink hot sauce. Welcome back to another show here with Jazz. Got my girl Kenny. Podcast is Pink Hot Sauce, okay?
We got the sauce, baby.
We definitely got the sauce. And it'll be streaming on multiple platforms. Now, before we get into this, because I got a story time for y'all.
What is your definition of dating?
Dating for me would be communication, texting, sometimes calling, sometimes FaceTiming, going out, hanging out. That's dating for me.
Okay.
But dating is definitely different from a relationship.
Okay.
Getting courted, all that process, that beginning stuff, trying to see if they like you or you like them, if it's a good fit, all of that.
And we're talking about the mistakes while dating.
Before we get in that, what do you feel like is one of the biggest dating mistakes you have made?
Was that the question?
Mm-hmm.
Girl, doing it in the first place. I'm just joking. Date all of them. Don't date one. Date them all. Hell, that's the biggest mistake.
Yes, that's how I feel.
That's my opinion.
Like,
date them all. Why not?
One ain't doing right. You date until you're down to one who is. I guess we'll just get into this story time. Lord Jesus, let me take a drink first.
Right, go ahead, sip. I'm gonna sip with you. Go ahead.
Story time on a big mistake that I made while dating. So, one day I was on a dating app, Hinge, if you know, you know, and I came across this profile of this guy. Now, before I talk about this guy, my usual type, I would say, is Black. I haven't really dated outside of my race at this point.
Okay.
So I seen this person and I was like, okay, I see. Like, he was white, real white, like pale white. And he had red hair. I never dated one.
I've never dated one.
I love red hair. And I was just like, oh, he kind of cute. Okay. Let me see what he's talking about.
I'm going to shoot my shot. Okay.
So, matched with him, matched back. Cute. Cool. So, eventually, we end up exchanging numbers, right?
Okay.
And when we were texting, everything's fine. But, you really, you get layers of a person.
Right.
When you first meet them,
right.
The texting, and then when you actually talk to them on the phone versus when you FaceTime them, you get layers.
Right.
So when we actually did a FaceTime, the vibe switched up a little bit for me. Like, you can't really tell a person who they are through a text.
Okay. You
gotta kind of get that FaceTime and that call in. And when I actually talked to him on the phone, he was just a little, I don't know, he was just more slow to move with things. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. From his pictures, you would think that he would be more outgoing. But you picked up on it quickly, though. Picked up on it real quick. That's he seems reserved. He seemed quiet. He seemed very kind of to himself. And that's fine. But sometimes with quiet people, you gotta be careful because they quiet, and sometimes that is for a reason. So we start talking, and we having some decent conversation. He wants to go out to Top Golf. He actually loves golf, so I'm like, that's fine. Never been let's do that. We meet, first date, cool. He was nothing but a gentleman, showing me how to golf, all the things. And I was like, okay, Prince Harry, I see you with Meghan Markle, Prince Harry. I see where this is going. I see where we're going.
So the representative showed up.
The representative showed up, right? And he had asked me on the phone before we went on a date. He was like, oh, have you ever kissed on a first date? And I'm just like, I don't really do that. That's not really my thing. So, kind of brush over that. But for some reason, that I think stuck with him because he purposely, I felt, tried to get a kiss that day. Gotcha. And it felt a little forced. So I was like, okay, we had a good time. All right, cool, whatever. But I caught on to that. I think you did it on purpose. But whatever, there. From that date, we start talking on the phone every day. And we talk on the phone for hours. Okay. And we FaceTime often. Keep that in mind. We're moving very, very fast. So we're hanging out, we're going on a hike, and he kept kind of mentioning on the phone, like, oh, there's something I got to tell you. There's something I got to tell you. And I was like, okay. He's like, but I'm going to wait. I'm like, all right, cool. And so we're going on a hike, took some cool pictures, went all the way to the top, and then we went past the top and went even higher. And I took some really, really dope pictures of him. Like, he's like standing on this mountaintop. I'm like looking down. It looks really cool. But after we end up leaving, I kind of felt like I knew where it was going because I feel like he was low-key hinting to what he was trying to say. We ended up going to his house and he ended up telling me, I love you.
Oh, dang.
Mind you, we met in October. We're in November.
Oh.
2 months.
Okay.
Red flag, people. That's a red flag. Red flag. Red flag. Okay? Okay. So, yeah. And
pause. What was your response?
So, by this time, it was only like 2 months in. Okay. And from us being on the phone basically every day. Okay. And I worked at home or I was, so I was on my computer. So I would just like have him on FaceTime while I was on my computer. So
y'all were together all the time?
All the time, virtually, from that first date until all the time. And so he started opening up to me. Sometimes people feel like they can open up to me, which is, a good thing. Mm-hmm. He was like, I want to tell you something, but I don't know how to tell you this. I really don't know because I don't know you like that. And this was before he said, I love you. And I'm going to go back real quick. I was like, well, if you don't feel comfortable telling me, then, you ain't got to tell me. I'm not in a rush. Tell me whenever I don't. He basically was on the phone and was like, I don't know you like that, so I don't know if I should tell you this. I'm a little embarrassed. Okay. I was like, don't feel pressured. I mean, tell me when you want or don't tell me. And he's like, well, I'll tell you. And he was like, so I have depression. Mm-hmm. I take medicine for my depression. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. I've never dealt with a person who has been depressed to the point where they have to take medication. Okay. So I'm not thinking it's a big deal really because okay, you take your medication. Okay, cool. And I had asked my friends about it, should I not talk to this person because of that? Because I don't know what that entails. I really don't. Could be nothing. And they were just like, just give him a chance. Don't discredit him because he's dealing with that. And I said, you're right. Let me not do that. We basically stayed on the phone a lot. We FaceTimed all the time. And I felt like from that, FaceTiming all the time for hours and on the phone for hours made me feel like we were closer sooner than we were. Okay. And now back to when we went on a hike and we went to his house. And that's when he hit me with I love you. Just from talking to him, I guess. It sounds crazy. But I was just like, I knew you were going to say something like that. And I feel like I have love for you because of the things that you have been through. Okay. I can't say I love you in the way that you're saying it. I can say that I have love for you because I care for you. Okay. Basically, that makes sense. One day, he called me, but I ain't have my wig on. I ain't have my hair. I ain't want to answer the FaceTime with a bonnet on or with my Coolio braids. So I said, I'm going to call him back. Yeah. And he kept calling. And I was just like, yo, I'm going to call you back in a minute. And I ended up calling him back maybe 2 hours later because I just was like, let me get myself together. And when I called him back, he was on the phone, like, crying, like his face was red. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, what the hell? He was like, I got fired from my job. I've been working there for X amount of years. Now I don't have no job. Now I've got nothing. And I ain't never seen a grown man like break like that. Like he was broken. Like he was just like crying like a baby. And I was just like,
kind of stuck in a trance, right?
yeah. And I'm just like, dang, like that's crazy. And I felt so bad for him. And I'm just like trying to encourage him, like, you'll be all right. You'll get another job. That didn't make me want to beat you for what you do for a living. Like, you could find something else. I'll help you. Not a big deal. Once he lost that job, it went from like this to this. Like, it started going downhill quickly. Red flag. So, I don't know what his medication was, but I went to his house one day and he was like sitting on the couch like me, but he started nodding off like while we were just sitting there, he started nodding off like that. Like his eyes closed and I'm just like, are you cool? Are you okay? And he just started talking like in slow motion, like like muddling his words up. And I'm like, bro, what the hell wrong with you? Like, is you okay? And I'm thinking like, I think he's overtaking the medicine. Okay. I don't think he's taking the right amount.
I don't think this is how this is supposed to work
at all. Not that I even know what the medication would be, but I'm just like, is it supposed to be like this?
Right.
So I'm Googling it up and I'm just like, okay, this is for depression. Okay. I started noticing things around his apartment. For one, his apartment was, I ain't going to say it was like, it wasn't the dirtiest in certain areas. It wasn't the cleanest either.
Okay.
And if you know me, I hate to put this out there, but it's the truth. If you know me, you know I don't do roaches. Okay? I don't do roaches. That man had roaches. And like, I would freak out. Like, I want to hang with you and all that, but bro, you gotta clean up. That's what I kind of told him. I was like, you gotta get it right in here, because like, when the roaches would come out like and just sit, they wouldn't like just scatter. Them the type of roaches that be out. Like when you just sitting and parking and not scared, that's the type of roaches that was going on.
This y'all have.
Yeah. I definitely had a conversation like, bro, like I can't bring that back to my house. So one time I went to his house, I just started cleaning up. Kitchen, just started picking up stuff. And I noticed like under his couch, one of his couches, he had like mad bottles of like big things of beer. I forgot what they're called.
Like kegs? No?
Not a keg. It's something else. It's like called I don't know, but it was like really big, like a liter of alcohol. And I seen like a couple of those under his couch in his room.
Which are not to be taken in addition to
medication. Right? And I'm thinking of that, like, and for the most part, he was a loner. He said he got friends, but they're married and got kids and they're not really near. So, but he said he got friends. So I'm like, okay, well, he got friends. But all these bottles, I'm just like, maybe he had his friends over sometime. And he just didn't clean it up. I don't know. Yeah, kept that in the back of my mind. Didn't really like that. One day, he and I got into a little disagreement. I don't remember what it was about. I just remember I was about to go home and leave. I was like, I'm leaving. He was like, no, I don't want you to leave. And I was like, bro, I'm leaving. Like, what you mean? He was like, no, I don't want you to leave. My keys, I got my keys. And he's like pulling my keys. Because I think I had like a lantern or something, like a long thing that you hold them on. And he was pulling, I was pulling. He was pulling, I was pulling. And he like, I pulled him and it like jerked back and it like hit me in my mouth. So my reaction was, I know you lying. I ain't gonna lie. I had to hit him with a doop on the chin, little two-piece, because what? You got me, like, even though he didn't mean to, like, bro, why did you hold on to my keys in the first place? Yeah. You got me effed up. Right. I also had to remember that when I had went to his house, I know that he had guns with the S. He had guns with the S. His sisters are older than him. He's the youngest, and he has 3 other siblings. 2 girls, 1 boy. One owns a funeral home. One is, and she's also a mayor of a certain city. The other one has a husband who's a police officer. And then the older brother. But yeah, he had guns with an S. And also, which it's not very nice, but I regret saying this, but whatever. He lived in a majority Spanish neighborhood.
Okay.
And I was like, why do you live here? Like, how you the minority and you white? Like, you shouldn't be living here.
Right.
Which, not very nice to say looking back on it, but maybe that's all he could afford. But and I was like, if I run out of here, he could easily shoot me if he really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And I also noticed in his door, like going towards his room in the hallway, there was another room. He had 2 bedrooms. And there was a hole in one of the doors. And I was like, how did that hole get in that door?
Mm-hmm.
And he tried to say it was an ex-girlfriend or something. But I didn't really believe that. I'm like, you probably punched the hole in the door. But I let it go.
Mm-hmm.
After, I'm sitting in his living room like, I just 2-pieced him. I'm about to leave because I don't want him to shoot me because white people are crazy. He goes in the room and he comes out with my leggings on. Like, he had my leggings on. He had my leggings.
Was he joking?
He had my. I was like, I started laughing like I'm like now like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, I don't want you to leave, and I stayed. But bro, what? Like he walked out with my leggings on. I'm just like, all right. I don't know, but yeah. So that. I had a meetup group that I hosted for people who did content and stuff. And I was telling him about one of the people that were in the group. We was on the phone. I don't remember exactly what I said about him. I think he was gonna like become kind of co-owner of the group because I was the main person who had the group. This one guy, he basically was going to kind of take over the group, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling him this. I was like, this is my group, da, da, da. And he was like, no, fuck that. I'll kill him. Da, 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 da. I was like, yo, chill. It's not even that serious. He didn't do anything wrong. He's like, no, fuck that. Yo, I'll kill him. He's trying to take advantage of you. Da, da, da. And I was just like,
oh my God.
Brother, relax. It became more of the anger I started seeing quickly. Called me out my name in an argument. I don't even know what we were arguing about, but he called me out my name. I think he called me what's that word? A cunt? I'm like, bro, you don't understand. That don't mean nothing. I eat that.
Use that.
We don't use cunt. I don't give bro, I'll run you over. You better who you talking to? Like, was I supposed to eat? It didn't. But get out of here, bro. And I just started noticing myself snapping on him more. And I didn't like that. This is only month 2. And we already getting into it a little bit too much for my liking.
Right.
A little too
Red
much.
flag.
That November, it was time to vote. And he had already voted prior to me meeting him. But I was just like, you like black girls clearly. Because he dated another girl.
Mm-hmm.
And she was African. And she was darker than me. So I was like, okay, he's with black girls. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I had asked him to, if I was to go to your house, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ever say the N-word? He's like, nah, we never said the N-word. But I had a black girlfriend. And that. Cool. All right, so we're on the same page with that. So when I asked him about who he voted for, I figured we would be on the same page because you date black girls. He voted for Trump. And I was just like, dun, dun, dun. Red flag, red flag, red flag. But I was just like, well, I mean, that was before me, so I really can't do anything. Maybe it's beneficial because he's a single white man. In the end, I'm just like, I had talks with him, like, if we were to ever, like, have children, if it got to that point, like, you have to think of things like this. Like, you have to be conscious of race, and you have to be conscious of things that will affect me and them and you. He was like, I understand. Cool. I was like, all right, cool. Rewind to January. It's Martin Luther King's birthday. And something in me, I don't know why, he called me early in the morning. Something in me was just like, test them. Just test them. See what he said. And I was just like, oh yeah, it's Martin Luther King's birthday. And I could just tell how he paused, like, you about to be on some shit. And he was like, he didn't do anything anyway, so And I was like, and so I was like, I feel like you saying it. I feel like you're saying that to me because you want a response out of me. Mm-hmm. I didn't jump into it because I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. But I do feel like you trying to push me. And I said again, how do you feel like you can date someone like me if that's how you feel? I'm black. Hello, you're white. What are you talking about? And I basically said, you sound like one of those people that are like, oh, I'm not racist. My friend's brother's cousin is black. What are you talking about? Yeah. I said something like that, right? Mm-hmm. This guy, we was on FaceTime, and he looks at me dead in my eyes, and he's like, fuck you, nigger. I said, Mer? And I had an outer body experience. I literally felt myself going over my body and looking like, you heard that? No, y'all heard that, right? Okay. So I went back in my body and I'm just looking and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I just was like, it's over. Never call me again. Right. Hung up that phone. And I was just like shocked because I'm just like, again, we've been vibing. We've been on the phone for hours. I asked you if you ever said the N-word. You talking about having kids. And then because I said that and it made you that mad, you turn around and say that to me? Are you cool? Clearly you not. I blocked him. I blocked him on off my phone. And the way he was moving, like before this, he was just like talking about weddings and rings and all that. And I was just like, hey, I don't know where you going with this. I don't know, white people might be different. They actually might do what they say they're going to do. I don't know. But if you ever were to get me a ring, you need to refer to this friend and or this friend. Mm-hmm. Don't give me no ring I don't like. And so because of that, he had two of my friends' numbers. Mm-hmm. He called one friend. She don't pick up unknown numbers. Okay. He called the other friend. She picked up. And I had already told her what was going down, what just happened. And she was like, I'm not going to lie. I support whatever you do, but I don't fool with that. And I couldn't support that relationship if you got back with him. Right. That affected me a lot when she said that. Because I already knew, like, I can't do this because of what you said. Because of what you said. It's 4 months in. I have a daughter. I'm black. She's black. If her dad knew what you said, you'd be out of here. Right. You'd be the upper room. That's it. So just for that alone, I was just like, nah, I can't even do that. But I was just in my head for some reason, like maybe we could be friends because clearly you need some help. Mm-hmm. You clearly need some type of help. He had called me and was like, your boy done called me. And I acted like I ain't talked to you. I know what's happening. And he was like, oh, did you speak to Jasmine? And she was like, oh, I'll tell her you trying to reach her. And he was like, yeah, I'm trying to reach her. I can't get to her. Please tell her to call me. And she told me this. I was like, man, I don't give a fuck. Like, I ain't calling him back. I don't care what South Story, man. Get out of here, bro. Like, nah, we're done. You've lost it. You have took it to a point of no return. I can't fool with you. I can't skate with you. I can't nothing with you. Right. Maybe like 2 days go by. And me being a little toxic, I was overthinking it, thinking about it. And I was like, nah, fuck that. You gonna feel me. You gonna call me out my name. And da-da-da-da. I started getting like really mad. Mm-hmm. So I'm calling his phone. He ain't answering. I'm calling his phone. He ain't answering. I'm blowing his phone up. He ain't answering. So that made me even madder. Right. I'm like, oh, you trying to be funny. Or you trying to hide now because you got called out. When I say I start spamming his phone, clown emoji, clown emoji, clown emoji, clown emoji. I was like, I'm going to tell your people about this. I'm going to tell them that you racist, da. Because, like, I had a phone call with his sister one time. So I kind of met her, sort of. And then I had already looked them up on Facebook. So I already knew what they looked like even before he told me. Once he told me the name, I looked them up. I was just so angry. At the end of the night, I was, like, drained. I was just like, this ain't even worth all of that. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm doing all this for what? And I sent him a message, and I was just like, all of this is not healthy. Basically, like, I can't do this, but I'm trying to make sure you're good. You know, even though I really shouldn't even be reaching out to you after what you said to me, but you know, feeling a connection of some kind, I guess. He still ain't answering, and I'm just like, bro, like, what the freak? What the fridge, Toast? Mm-hmm. So I end up hitting up his sister on Facebook. I was like, check on your brother, because I can't get a hold of him, and I've called him like crazy amount of times. She's like, okay, cool, I'll let you know. So I'm starting to get nervous, like, bro, like, why is he not answering? And I feel like you would have answered by now. I like called the cops. I was like, do a wellness check on him. Like, he just got a brand new car. They was like, oh, well, his car's outside, so we really can't do anything because he's home, obviously. And I was like, well, I guess I'm about to go up there and like make sure he's good. But I didn't want to bring my daughter. I didn't have anybody to watch her. And I was like sitting in my room, and I was on my phone, and I was on the phone with one of my homegirls, and I got a message from his sister on Facebook. And she was like, oh, do you have a key to his house? I'm like, nah, I don't. Which he actually was going to give me a key. He was going to give me the African girl he used to date, her key. And I was like, well, you better give me a fresh key. I don't want that damn key. Are you crazy? I don't want that key. And I actually spoke to her too about him. I was like, yo, like, what's up with him? Mm-hmm. She was like, he's a nice, sweet guy, but he's got a lot of demons. And I was just like, okay, not good, but okay. Mm-hmm. And then she left it at that. So the sister was like, do you have a key? I was like, no. I was like, maybe you could ask the maintenance man, even though it was a weekend. Maybe they have a key. I don't know. So I'm on the phone with my friend, and then I get a message from his sister again, like an hour later. She's like, well, me and the parents, you know, we're about to head over there now. Cool. Let me know. And I'm just looking, talking to my friend. And then she messaged me again. She was just like, honey, he's gone. And I'm like, what do you mean he's gone? And I'm just like, I feel like I low-key blacked out. Like, I was on the phone, I start screaming. I'm like, what's that mean? What's that mean? Like, what do you mean? What you mean? What you mean? I hang up with homegirl. I call her on Facebook, and I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And she's like, honey, he's gone. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Like, how? What happened? And she was like, he shot himself. And I'm just like, everything stopped. And I hear his mom in the background crying. I hear somebody else in the background crying. And I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? What the fuck just happened? And I'm just like, it's my fault. We got into it. I shouldn't have said that. She was like, no, it's not your fault. He's been battling with depression and da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, yo, like when she told me.
Oh my gosh.
Like when she said he shot himself, like I screamed like it was an outer body experience. Like I have a feeling she probably still hear that scream. Like it was an eerie, blood curdling scream. And it was like bad where I had to come get me out the room. Like I was no good. Like it was bad. And so me, homegirls, they came right away, and we just driving around the city. And I was just in awe. Like I looked at a picture of him, I threw up. It was 4 months that I known him. And now he's gone. It was just like, yeah, it was crazy. And so his sister, I had sent her some pictures that we had took on the mountain. They were really dope. I was like, in case you want some pictures of him, you know, I got these pictures we took, you know. Mm-hmm. And she was just like, we want you to come to the funeral. And the funeral, mind you, his sister owns a funeral parlor. So it was going to her place. Mm-hmm. And it was like a 2-hour drive away, like in the country. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I can't go to these people's place by myself. I don't know y'all. I barely knew him. Y'all want me to go 2 hours away. This man is not here anymore. Wow. I said, nah, somebody got to come with me because it was giving Get Out vibes. I was just like, hell no. Hell no.
Right.
So We ended up going to the funeral, and it was on his people. They had a farm, but it was really nice. And he was at the funeral home, but they had like a memorial of him there. So his body wasn't there. But when I get in there, like, it was so cool how it was set up. Like, they had, it was like hay around chairs where people sit. It was like a stage, and it was like all these hay bundles. And then it was like 2 tractors like kind of crossing each other. And that jump's sweet. That was like a country little aesthetic. It was cute. And then, the funeral picture they used a picture I sent on the mountain. I said, ain't that about a blimp? What the hell going on? His mom, who I ain't never meet. This is the first time I'm meeting his mom. Girl. First time I'm meeting all his family. And she gave me, she was like, well, here's one of his bracelets. He had a bracelet he ain't never take off. He always had this bracelet on. She's like, do you want one? I was like, yeah, I'll take that one. And I'll put the bracelet on. So then his sister, I finally see her in person, and we just start bawling, hugging each other, whatever. And then she's like, all right, well, I want you to sit next to our mom. So they sit me next to the mom, and I'm just like, all right, that's what we doing. Cool. And she was just like, oh, how did you know my son? And I was like, we met on a dating app. And I just turned my head, and I'm just looking up like, bro, look what you got me into. Are you fucking serious? You got me out here in this country ass place next to your mom talking about a dating app. I know you lying. Yo, and so people were up there talking or whatever. It was me and my aunt and this one random black guy and this one random black person. Everybody else was white. I just felt like they're probably like, who is this random black girl here? So they were like, anybody else want to speak? Me and I'll say something. So I get up, I go on stage, and I say a little something. And, I was just like, talking about, I don't know, I think he liked Home Alone. And I just was like, he loved his mom, he loved his dad, he loved his sisters, his uncles, his nieces and nephews. He kept it real cute, and it was real sweet. It sounded like a movie. Like, it really was a speech that sounded like something from a movie. We went to the repast afterwards, and we were the only black people there. And I sat next to his dad, and he was just telling me all these stories about him. And it's crazy because he told me, and because he would be drinking. Come to find out, all them bottles that he was drinking them by himself. He ain't had nobody over there. He was just drinking all them things I found under his bed and by himself. And that one time, he was just like, my dad used to whoop my ass. He used to whoop my ass. That's how he said it. And he was so upset. And I was like, yo, like, calm down. Like, what happened? And that's what I was thinking about when I was sitting next to his dad, and he was just telling me all this shit. I'm just thinking, like, this man he said you beat his ass. I don't know what happened, abuse, but somehow his dad got on to me. I probably asked something about, like, when they went there. Because it was his dad, his mom, and his sister, and her fiance who seen him. And what's crazy is I would have been the one. I was going to go up there. That's why I'm glad I didn't bring my daughter, and I didn't even. That must have been God. Like, no, you don't need to go up there. Yeah. His dad, I remember, he was just like, he seen him at the foot of the bed, and just blood and everything, just all on the floor. He was like hurt. Like, I said, bro, he's at the foot of the bed. And one thing I did think, even though it's kind of like inappropriate, I asked him to have a girlfriend at the Kings before. He was like, no. So I had some cute ones, and one day I put them in his pocket. And so one day he was like, did you give me that? I was like, yeah, I did. And there'd be times where I would FaceTime him, and they were on the pillow next to him. On the pillow. So I'm thinking, I know they were still there. I know those were there when all this was going down. And so I was like, damn, I hope they didn't think they was my panties. But yeah, that was crazy. I don't even remember when this happened. This happened in like 2021. So by now, I have known him longer in death than I've known him in person, dating in real life. So yeah. That shit was crazy. The mistakes that I made were huge. And it cost me mentally, like it messed me up, like bad. Like depression kind of sunk on me. I found myself like in my car, just like crying. But I could feel his presence in my car.
Oh, child.
I felt his presence in my car. Like, I don't know if it was just that bracelet. I don't know what it was. And I feel like it was after I found out that he died. Mila, she was little and she was in our room. And she was like, Mommy, I'm scared. Mommy, I'm scared. I was like, what's wrong? She was like, something's in there. Somebody's in there. I feel like somebody's looking at me. And I was just like, could be old boy. Really could be. Because, you know, kids and babies and animals, they see things. Mm-hmm. And like, I was just no good. Like, I had a dream about him. I don't even know why I did. I was just trying to like get in a better space. But I had went back on Hinge. And I was literally on the couch. I didn't want nothing. I was just like, let me just get my mind off of it. But as I'm scrolling, I felt something behind me. It's like I could feel this man's presence. And I'm like, I look, ain't nothing obviously behind me. But that night, I had a fucking nightmare. In the dream, I feel like he got mad that I was on Hinge and he got me back in my dream. That's what I feel like. Because like in the dream, it was so hot. It was dimly lit. Mm-hmm. He was in a room and he was on a bed. And my mom was sitting on the bed. And he was laying in my mom's lap. But he was dead. Hell no. And I woke up like, I know you, Ryan. Hell no. What type of dream is that? That was one of the most eerie, creepy dreams. I was like, I feel like you're trying to get me back because you're sitting on him. Like, it was just like, I don't know, like, I found myself talking to this man after he passed. Like, it was a fucking, like, I was no good. But eventually, you know, I got out of it, you know. Eventually, I, you know, got better. And as time went on, I've healed. But there are certain times, like around Martin Luther King's birthday, I always think about it. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you just had to ask him about Martin Luther King. You just had to go there. But it's just like, yeah, I had to go there. I had to because what you want and what you asking, that has to be something. Like, I can't just skip over things because I don't want to tiptoe around like subjects. Like, I can't do that. So it's like, you really had to go there about Martin Luther King. But then it's like, yeah, you really did. Yeah, you did. I still keep in contact with his sister from time to time, you know, but she was just like, it's never the same because they were the closest. She's like, it'll never be the same. I don't even think she's speaking to her parents right now. I don't know why, but yeah.
Woo, child, that was a hefty
story. Yeah. Story time right there.
Yes, it was.
Like, but you know, I would say I can reflect it back now,
right,
and say, the mistakes I made, for one, getting in a relationship too fast. I don't even usually do that. You don't even know him from a can of paint to be getting in a relationship, let alone always being on FaceTime. You can have, and I still do it, so I'm actually going to be contradicting my own self, but especially in the beginning, don't be on the phone for hours and hours and hours every single day with that person. Like, let it be some mystery. Let it be some space. Like, you don't have to do all of that. When somebody show you who they are, believe it. He was showing me signs that he wasn't all the way there. It would be the cunt, the drunk, the bottles, everything, the nodding off. Like, you looking past certain things because you care about that person. You want to see the good in them. It can't be that bad, but you see this like the hole in the door. Like, you looking past it, but really, it's right in front of you. It was times where I felt guilty. Mm-hmm. I felt like, had I not pushed him over with what I was saying, even though I feel like I wasn't even saying nothing too crazy, he maybe would not have done that.
But you know, I definitely, you can't. That was like the other girl said. Those were demons he already had.
And to be honest, another perspective was, okay, y'all stayed together. What if he would have did that to you? You could do that to yourself. You could do that to anybody. I feel like.
Yeah.
And I got a whole daughter.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, it could have been worse. Because me doing that 2-piece, the first thought after was, he got guns.
Mm-hmm.
He got guns. He can shoot your ass right now. And I wouldn't put it past him to put a gun up to my damn head. That would have been the end of it. Like, so, you know, but toxic things are toxic things. You can try to make them, sugarcoat them and dip them in gold, but they still toxic.
Yeah.
So you can ignore it, but it's still toxic. And that's what I did. I ignored stuff that I knew. I knew that I shouldn't have been dealing with. You can't be ignoring signs like that. And it made me also think, like, I know there's different degrees of depression.
And the mental illness and all of that, yeah.
But when you taking medication, it's a bit more serious than, oh, I'm just depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And I never dealt with that. And honestly, I don't think I would want to deal with someone else that has to take medication for that, just from that experience. But stuff like that got to be taken serious. I didn't take it serious.
Yeah.
And I was a little hard on him sometimes. I would like say, you just want to sit here and feel sorry for yourself. Get up and do something about it. Like, I would give him tough love. But maybe he didn't need that all the time. Maybe he needed something else.
Even still, it's not something that you can fault yourself for, you know?
Yeah. So,
by any stretch of the imagination, you can't fault yourself.
You know? That was a dark ass story. But at the same time, you know, you live through things, you grow through it, and you move along and just, you know, don't make the same mistakes that you've made in the past. Right. Guys, honey, I don't think I can go through another one of them.
I don't think anybody should have to go through even one of them.
Not even one,
Yeah. Especially not another.
Right. Turning this around on a more lighter note, do you feel like people can be redeemed from showing you red flags, or do you feel like you just need to let them go learn that on someone else's time?
As far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna let you go ahead and go. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily because of the story, but it's just like red flags are not yellow flags, not halfway go through flags. They're red. That means stop completely. So yeah, I'm kind of okay with letting red flags be red flags. You know, teach his own. We live in a learn, because I'm pretty sure I have gone through red flags. I should have stopped way before, you know, and I could have been flagged. So
yeah,
I think we all have.
I would say from the past till now, old me trying to fix somebody up because I don't care. Because I'm not doing those things anymore. And it's because I don't have the mental bandwidth to do that. I got my own stuff going on. I can't be your hero, my hero. Like, I got myself I got to keep up. I got a whole child I got to show examples to and keep her good. I don't have time or the energy to put into anybody else right now when it comes to those things.
I'm not going to say be selfish, but how can you present your whole self to somebody else when you're only part of a person? When you're still working on you. It's not even fair for me to try to give you the whole version of me. So if that makes me selfish while I work on me, yeah, I am selfish.
And that's fine.
I am a little selfish. Yeah.
Everybody has a representative. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to be something that they're not. They want to look a certain way. But when it comes to a relationship, for me, I don't think I can be in one with someone until I see their level of anger, how you deal with disagreements, how you deal with conflict resolution. I don't want to be with someone who is going to blow their top every single time that we have a disagreement. So I become more selfish these days.
It has to be that way sometimes. My dating life is definitely totally different from what it used to be because I changed my damn standards. I mean, my standards have changed. It's okay to put my standards in place and stick to them.
If you leave, you leave.
Yeah.
Another one will come back.
Yeah.
They always do. They always do.
They always come back. Yeah.
But yeah, so we gonna wrap this up. And I'm gonna say for the audience, for the viewers, what is a mistake that you have made in the past that you wish you did better? But what did you learn from that mistake? Pink Hot Sauce podcast. It got a little deep. But that happens sometimes. It can be like that. It be like that sometimes.
Yeah, the sauce is hot.
It's hot. So, you know what I'm saying? Tune in next time. I guess we'll see you later. Bye.
Pink Hot Sauce.